Welcome to the CFFL Morning After 2025 edition. Since this is a very long show, I'll get right into the action here and see what we have coming up next and talking about the season. So first of all, look at the North Division. This is teams 1 through 4. These were the teams, 3 of the teams had made the Super Bowl pod last year, and the other one normally would have been he was leading in the points, but he got overtaken in the last game by Griff by 4 points. So if not, there's a fair chance he would have also been in the pod, but he missed out. And that's the Maulers. But first, we'll look at the Badgers. One of his best drafts, possibly in recent memory. Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, good quarterbacks with some upside. I mean, not superstars like the top 5, but good quality. Gibbs, Hampton, Henderson, and Bigsby, one of the best running back cores in the league. Arguably could be the number 1 pick in Gibbs, a rookie with a lot of upside, either one in Hampton or Henderson, and Bigsby, a chance there in Jacksonville. Brian Thomas Jr., Trey McBride, Emeka Buka, and Matthew Golden, very good receivers with some good upside, safe floors with Bride. If Ibuka and Golden are really, really good, this could be a very, very, very good team. If not the floor, probably have like a minimum 7-7, 8-6. I would assume, barring injuries. But should be a really good team. Last year, the Maulers, like I said, 7-7, almost made the playoffs. Who knows how far they would have went had they made it. Mayfield and Tua, so good quarterbacking. Bijan, Brees Hall, David Montgomery, Travis Etienne. So good running backs. I question the Hall one. Not a huge fan of him anymore. But if he is the main guy with the Jets, that could become a really good pick. Probably the biggest question for him this year and his turning point would be on his receivers. I did not love the value of Terry McLaurin at the end of the second round. He had a ton of touchdowns last year, but it was kind of an anomaly. Marvin Harrison had a decent amount of touchdowns, but really wasn't that productive. Dunze, I don't mind that one. Good upside swing. Pittman, Daniel Jones. So if his receivers come through, this could be a pretty darn good team because Bijan is really good and Montgomery is a touchdown machine. Even if he's down to 40% of that role in Detroit, it should be a good flex. One of the better flexes in the league. It all come down to those receivers. If they value of the 2-3 turn players, great. But if they're more the 4-5 turn, it could be a rough year for the Maulers. Next up, we have the Horn Dogs. Finally, maybe addressed his quarterback situation. Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff. Goff, one of the better backups. Saquon Barkley, Chuba Hubbard, Trey Benson, Ray Davis. Really good starters. Depth as a whole for the Horn Dogs is but those starters are really solid. Xavier Worthy, who I did not love in the 4th round. It was okay. Not a bad, I shouldn't say not a bad value. But the much better value was in the 5th round when he took Devontae Adams. But got both of them, so it really doesn't matter. Kobe Myers, a solid floor. Travis Hunter has upside, and Chris Godwin when he comes back. Will it be the Chris Godwin last year, the one who's kind of nursing injury? Still good value for you got him. And the question, I guess the biggest question is Travis Hunter going to be more focused on offense or defense? If he has the upside, that number 2 receiver upside, this could be a really good team as well. The Dynamite, the not the Dynamite, the Gargoyles, the Pterodactyls. Hard to say which team it is, but right now it's the Dynamite. Last year went 4-9-1, but did make the Super Bowl pod. Did finish in 2nd place. Best finishing Dynamite history. Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, good quarterbacks. We have James Cook, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet. Good depth at running back. Maybe lacking the upside. All comes down to, as the turning point says, is James Cook's breakout legit last year? Last year he had less carries, less touches, and he still had 16 touchdowns. If he does that again, obviously he's number 1. But if it comes back to earth and more regulates, Bills throw more touchdowns, Josh Allen runs a few more, Ray Davis or Ty Johnson get a couple. We'll see. That could really hurt him there. But receiver is really good, especially the top 2, Chase and London, arguably the best 2 receivers on a team in the league. I'm not a huge fan of Zay Flowers, a really talented player, but Ravens don't throw to him too much in the red zone. More Bateman, more Andrews, likely's there. DeAndre Hopkins, and Jaden Reed's already hurt. So his depth at receiver, I think, is a bigger question, but his depth at running back is great. So maybe he finds somebody to trade there. But it looks like a solid team for Griff. Next, we'll head to the Central Division. Team price is right. We have Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence, quarterbacks with some upside, uh, and Penix Envy. We have running back Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Jordan Mason, Javonte Williams. Good running backs. I liked Tim's start of his draft better than anybody his first and second picks with Derrick Henry and Nico Collins. Had I gotten Derrick Henry I was really hoping for the first time ever at pick 8. I would have loved to have Nico Collins and when I took him when I picked. I could have had him this year, but I couldn't go with Lamb and Collins, especially had I known how it went with the running backs. I definitely wouldn't have. It was the craziest draft in like running back heavy ever. Um, so yeah, did like that start there. I think the best through the first 2 rounds there. Ted McMillan, I liked maybe a little bit of early, I think a little bit of a reach there, just because you don't know what he's going to do. Panthers offense might be more running central. Dolphins, Waddle could be the number 1. Who knows? They seem like they're kind of a house of cards. Rashee Rice could be huge, but he is coming off an injury. He is going to miss 6 games plus the bye, so he'll be there for 7 of the games. And will he be fully healthy? I don't think he can practice during the time he's suspended. We'll see. Juwan Jennings was a really good value, though, too. So Tim does have good receivers, good depth there. Ken Walker health. If Ken Walker is healthy and he is more than a 50-50 split with Charbonnet, that's a scary team. But if not, we'll see. It tends to get nicked up too. But good upside there for Tim. Has a chance to, be really good this year. You're 10-time champion, by the way. That is 10 times. Fans, in case you didn't know. 10 times, everybody. Thank you last year. But dominant regular season, dominant playoffs, most dominant playoffs ever. This team, I don't think has the upside of last year's, but we'll see. Brock Purdy and Drake May, I like it. Don't love it. Nowhere near as good as my last year's. Purdy, I think, could be pretty good because I don't think that defense is going to be very good. So we'll see. Running backs are my biggest question. Kyren Williams, steady Eddie. I mean, he's going to probably get floor of 12 touchdowns, ceiling of 16 or so, 80 yards a game. Nothing flashy, but he gets a lot of important touches. RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Braylon Allen. We'll see. I think Harvey could be really good offensive line, but we'll have to see there. Probably looking for a number 2 running back, if not at least a good number 3. I would like in there. Although I'm pretty high on Braylon Allen this year, of maybe being the man in the Jets, but again, we'll have to see. I love my receivers. CeeDee Lamb, not what I plan on doing going in, but everybody went running back, so I did what I had to. Mike Evans, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall. I think Pearsall's got a huge upside to be good, and I got him as my number 5, so I love that. Ridley should be the main man in Tennessee, and actually a good, decent quarterback throwing to him, so we'll see what happens there. Turning point, my rookie running backs, will they be any good? I have Harvey, Caleb Johnson, and Judkins. We'll see how that plays out for me. Next up, Team Little Big Men. Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, awesome number 1 quarterback, a backup there in Darnold. Very big question mark at running back. Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Cam Skattebo. Skattebo comes through, might be pretty good. Chubb shows that those devastating injuries, weren't too bad, but it's 2 years of injuries in a row, and he's getting old. Aaron Jones is getting old. We'll see. If he gets average running back production, this could be a very good team. But if it's well below average, it could be a long year. But the receivers, especially the top 2, Jefferson and T are awesome. George Kittle was great last year, great number 3 receiver. Don't love Laporta as a 4. And Shakir is a solid 5. He's a good high floor player. So another good receiving core there. Laporta maybe drags it down a little, but otherwise it's excellent. Minotaur is coming up next, 5-8-1 last year, disappointing year for him, but one of his best drafted teams in my opinion. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, some good upside there, especially with Stroud. They might have to throw depending on how their running game is. Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Tyrone Tracy, Austin Eckler, one of the better running back cores in the league, I think, in depth there. Eckler is a solid number 4. Receivers, sneaky good. A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Cortland Sutton, really, really, really like all 3. A.J. Brown is a pretty good value there. Getting him, I believe, in the 3rd round, which was Maybe not the best pick in the draft. It's a little teaser there, but probably the second best pick in the draft. I think he's going to get more targets this year. DJ Moore, okay, number 4, and Mark Andrews is a pretty good number 5. Turning point, if McCaffrey stays healthy, this could be the best team in the league. We'll have to see. Bucky Irving, by the way, if you haven't seen him much, Charlie, you will enjoy watching him. He is one of the best running backs in the league, especially underrated. Closest thing to Barry Sanders I can remember seeing last year. Just such start stop, and that contact balance is awesome. Finally, or the final division, we have the Colts last year 2-12, but they did win the Jim Shavina consolation belt. Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, pretty darn good quarterbacking core. Running backs, Taylor, Connor, and Jalen Warren. Injury-prone running backs over the course of their career. Taylor missed a couple games last year. Connor stayed pretty darn healthy last year, but over the course of his career, he's had some injuries. They stay healthy. This is a pretty darn good team. Josh's best team since returning to the league, possibly. Receivers, we have Malik Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Jamison Williams, Jordan Addison. I like Jamison Williams better than Devontae, but flip them, that's still good. Maybe lacking a little floor there, but upside is crazy high. So Josh has some pretty good receivers and a pretty darn good team. I would be stunned if he finishes 2-12, and I would be really surprised anything less than 500 this year for the Colts. Bruisers, 8-6 last year, made the playoffs again. Mahomes and Stafford, Achane, Pacheco, and Chikori, Krosky, Merritt, or Bill, who I really liked. I was preparing to draft him, and when you took him, Bernie, I had to take Caleb Johnson. We'll see. Hopefully, that works out in my favor. Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey as a top 3, as good as anybody's in the league. Hockenson and Olave. Olave, fifth receiver, is amazing. Hockenson, we'll see. Just there's a lot of guys there, especially now with Thielen there. Little depth on this team. Probably the biggest question, and then can Achane stay healthy? Achane stays healthy, and Tua staying healthy. This is a pretty good team. If not, might not be Bernie's best season. But if Achane does stay healthy and Tua, this could be a good team. Dingoes, last year 7-7. Hurts and Murray, probably the best quarterbacking duo there. Genty, Jacobs, Ramondre. Genty and Jacobs should be really good. Ramondre, not the best depth, but the running backs are crazy this year, so it is what it is. Receivers, I think there's a whole bunch of 2-3s on this team. DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy with Flacco should be pretty good. Could be a pretty good team, but not a huge upside in any of the receivers. And Jake Ferguson, some depth. Depth is a problem with the Dingoes, but if Genty is a top 5 running back, this is a top 5 fantasy team, no doubt. Probably top 3. Best Dingoes team that I can remember he's drafted in a long time. Dr. Dangerous, last year finished 5-8-1. Started out the year really good. Injuries, I think Achane was on your team, caused him to peter out. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert should be absolutely perfectly fine at quarterback. Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard, Rachaad White. I really like Chase Brown. I thought he was a sneaky good pick. I was thinking of taking him. I probably wouldn't have taken him over Kyron, but I probably would have taken him over like an Achane. Borderline with Bucky, had him right about even. But I like that a lot. He's got a lot of upside, and he's pretty much the only guy there. Kamara, the Saints are just so bad. But Pollard should be the main guy at least for the first 6 weeks, if not longer, until Spears comes back. Receivers, Nacua is awesome, one of the best players in the league. Debo, will he return to old Debo, or does he look like old Debo? Keon Coleman, upside there, but how much will the Bills throw to him? Cooper Kupp looked really good last year when he was healthy, came back and looked bad. Kelsey supposedly in, best shape of his life. But no, I think there's some upside there. Receiver shouldn't be a problem. And can the Bengals defense be terrible and they're off those duo propel him to a really good year? Definitely possible. Now, on to the best. So the best pick, my opinion, Davante Adams, pick 50 by Scott. Close with A.J. Brown in the 3rd round for Charlie, but that was the best pick. Best quarterbacks, I did mention a couple other ones I liked, but the Dingoes with Hurts and Murray, the best. Best running backs, I think there was a couple other ones that were pretty good, but I think the depth of Bites High upside guy with Gibbs. High upside guy who could be a low end number one, I think. Although Chargers do like to put carries. But high upside there is a number two. Henderson's got a upside as a flex. And Bigsby, coin flip there. But worth as a number four running back. I like my receivers in terms of depth. There was better ones that have maybe a 1-2 than me. But Lamb and Evans and JSN and Pearsall and Ridley, um, 1 through 5, I think is as good as any in the league there, especially with a high upside guy in Lamb and a high upside as a 5, and Pearsall is really good too. Now on to the division winners quickly. Prediction: Vice's Badgers, I think, win the North. Should be a really competitive division, but I do think the Badgers edge out. My guess is the Horn Dogs there in that division. Central Division, I think it's also pretty good. I don't know. I think it's as pretty good as it's as good as the other one. But I think the Minotaurs win the division this year. I think my team might struggle a little bit at first until I find out which running back of mine is the second. So until that plays out, we'll see. I also think Tim will be solid, but Rashee Rice not being there start the year will hurt him. His team will take another step, but that's ways down the road there for him. Finally, in the South Division, I do think the Dingles, like I said, the best team he's drafted recently. I do think he beats out the Colts in that division. But that one, I do think there could be a few other teams that would make some noise there as well. Finally, Super Bowl predictions. We have team prices right. I did say I think at the end of the year, I think he'll come on. If he sneaks in the playoffs, he could be good with Rashee Rice. Bengals and the Badgers, I really like. And who could that fourth team be? Yes, of course. I do like my team. I think coming down the stretch, like not as much as last year. Never know what happens, but I do like it. I think the receivers will help carry me. But that's it for the show. Super Bowl prediction of 32 and covered that up there. You can't see it. Thank you for tuning in. Long show, longest one of the year. But yeah, so we had Bengals, we had the Cardinals. Team price is right, and the Badgers. So I'll let everyone go. I'll keep hanging out with my trophy. Best of luck to everyone this year, except when you play me. Thanks for tuning in.